Alrighty guys, gonna walk you through my season here for my video. This one was a trying year. First year with the bloodline, so that was a plus. Going into this season, you know, we had lost one of my private spots here locally. So I had to, you know, I had no choice but to knock on some doors. A family friend was able to give me permission on their property. It wasn't a big piece. It's only 14 acres with like 8 huntable acres of timber. So going into October, I was really busy with work and things, so I really wasn't able to get out. You know, me and Dad, we go up to the cabin on the weekends and we would check trail cameras and what have you. Kind of had a game plan drawn out for our week of rutcation. So, you know, I really wasn't worried. I was really confident going into this season up at camp. All right, so finally out here. Came to this one intersection area. Got a lot going on here. Got a trail coming through here. Got another trail coming right down through here. And then we got a trail coming right to here. I set up a mock scrape here. Gonna hang my camera over it and made it with one and only Cook's Fatal. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Never hunted here, but I'm gonna be in here tomorrow morning. I'm gonna get out of here. We're gonna jump into, you know, my week of rutcation, November 5th. Bears open, deer's open. It's an overlap archery season. I had a bear tag. That was one of my goals this year, was to get another bear with my bow. Wasn't able to do that. The bears kind of went ghost come November. They kind of, you know, I think a lot of it had to do with them taking the farmers taking the standing corn down. As soon as they started harvest, you know, I was seeing less and less on my trail cameras. So wasn't able to punch my bear tag, but you know, I went up. It was a Saturday, which was the last Saturday of that archery bear season, and pretty much Sunday was setting the stage for Monday, you know, our full week of hunting. So we were getting just a couple little bit of last minute adjustments in, me and Dad. And Monday was November 7th. Alrighty guys, it's Monday, November 7th, the evening sit. This morning, no deer. Saw a flock of turkey, but Dad saw the big guy, and he was heading in this direction where I had hung my climber the other day. We're posted up here for the evening. Can see a lot of ground, so gonna be another like recon set. I'm gonna get this set tonight, possibly tomorrow morning. I'd like to sit here in the morning, just what I'd see. So we'll see what happens tonight. Here we go, November 7th. Best day to be in the woods. Let's see if it proves us right. So after that, I got down and I recovered my arrow and just kind of wanted to slip out of there nice and quiet. Ended up walking out, waiting for Dad to come down off the mountain. He came down. I told him the news. He was ecstatic. We both were. Immediately, like I said, I knew it was not a good hit. So my confidence level, he was like, it'll be okay. Just, you always have that second guessing yourself after the shot. It's natural. But I kind of had a gut feeling in my own mind that that deer is not dead. But we had to do our due diligence. We decided to wait overnight and go in the next morning at 9 o'clock. We went to where I found my arrow. We picked up blood, but right off the bat, not good blood. It was just drops here and there. And the blood itself, it was just kind of like a muscular blood, that dark red color. So we tracked him for about 50 yards and he clotted up. And kind of put a dampener on, the rest of my week. I was determined. I was like, okay, I'm going to stay in this area, to listen for ravens or anything like that, because it doesn't really take long up at our camp. The ravens, they find a dead deer within usually 24 hours. So that was kind of like the rest of my week. Dad ended up shooting our other hit list buck, Browser, the day after, all this unfolded, which was a very nice, uplifting spirit type thing. That was a buck too that we had 3 years of history with, and we put a tag in him. So that was, that was a good thing. That was actually, it was kind of a slow week for this year up at our cabin. We actually only ended up, I believe, getting 4 bucks this year. So, not our best year, but we have a lot of up and comers. So that was pretty much my week for rutcation. So now I'm going to go into, like I said, I was coming down off a really long burnout. I was really honestly kind of burned out from that week. Just nothing really panned out. I ended up, finishing that week out. We got rain. The driveway was washing away. It was just a big old escapade. So decided to pack up and come home. And was kind of had my tail tucked between my legs for the next whole day. Got home on a Saturday evening. And the next day I was just kind of like, it was November 13th was Sunday. And it was the one Sunday that we get in archery to hunt on a Sunday. I was just kind of, I just had no motivation to get out in the stand. I was just kind of in a low spot, after talking with the guys. They're like, man, just keep your chin up, Tyler. Like, season's not over. You still got time. Just kind of always, that's one thing I love about us, man. We are always there for each other. We always have each other's backs. And it's a really tight-knit group. And I can't thank my wife enough. She's my rock. And she's actually the reason why I went out on that Sunday. She could tell I was upset. She was like, you need to get out there in a stand. Like, don't hang up your hat yet. Like, you've worked so hard this year. Get out there, go hunt. You're home. Just go up to that, that little place and see what you see. So I was like, all right, I'm looking at the winds. It's like 20 miles an hour. I was like, oh my gosh, this is just, whatever. What do I have to lose, right? So I get suited up, and I was just a soup sandwich going into stand. I was so unprepared. I ended up leaving my bow rope, my bow hanger up at the cabin. Like I said, thank God I had tree straps in my bag. I had to manipulate them together to pull up my bow. I had my mobile set up. And this area that I'm at on this new piece is very small. There's not a lot of mature trees, and the ones that are mature, they're too big to get any tree stand strap around. So it's very limited, but I got situated in a tree. I was only like 15 feet off the ground. But we made it work.
Right, everybody. I wasn't in the stand for 15 minutes. And I don't know if you can see my set. I'm about 15 feet off the ground. And I just shot what I believe is my best PA buck. He is wide. I was sitting up in my tree and I heard this raking on a tree. So I got set, I got my bow up. Sprayed some Cook's Fatal around me, man. I doused my tree above my head. My wind was blowing right into this thick stuff behind me. And I could hear a deer walking through this. So I got turned, I was seated. I didn't want to stand up because I'm a pretty big guy in a stand. So I got turned with my bow and I just saw a rack coming through this thick stuff. So I knew he was a shooter. And wide, big-bodied buck. I drew, and he was facing towards me. Ended up being about a 15. Seems to be my lucky number. 15-yard shot, and I got blood. He ran over here. He crashed, and then got back to his feet, but he was not doing good. So I think this will be a quick recovery. I got good blood right here. I center punched him right in the brisket in the wheelhouse. So let's go get our buck. I'm on the board. 3-year drought. And hopefully it has come to an end. I think it is. So here we go. Yeah, that's long blood, baby. He's toast. There he is. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh God, thank you. God, thank you.
So after the shot, I immediately called my wife. I always call her first. And after that, I immediately start calling the boys. And I was just overwhelmed with emotion. I could barely get words out. The good old feels of punching a tag was in my grasp again. And I was overwhelmed. It was a very short track. Like I said, after the shot, I was very confident. After his reaction, after the shot, I knew deer was dead. It got dead quiet about 10 seconds or so after he went crashing through the brush. It got dead quiet. So I had a good feeling he had expired. So immediately got on the blood, and it was just like somebody dumped a paint can in the woods. It was incredible. He ended up running about 20 yards and flipping over this log, and he was laying right on the other side of it. And man, the feeling I got of walking up on that buck, knowing that this is my biggest piece, this is my personal best for my state. I just went from the lowest of lows to having a buck that I've been chasing for 5 years, making a poor shot on him, not getting him, coming home and shooting the next day after coming home from the cabin, shooting my personal best here in Pennsylvania in my home state. I went from the lowest of lows to the highest of highs, and those emotions just erupted when I was filling out my tag. This is the first harvest under my belt that I have without my mom. And it was one of those things that kind of made me get a little bit of emotional, which is understandable. I know everybody understands that. But I knew she was there with me in the moment. She probably was the one that nudged him up out of his bed to come on over to me. But I can't thank the guys on the bloodline enough. You guys are like brothers to me. I love our group. There's big things ahead for us. But with that, I ended up dragging this deer out by myself. And it was one for the books. 2022 was, like I said, a trying year, but it was probably the best damn season I had. and solely because being a part of the bloodline and ending the 3-year drought. And thanks everybody for the support. Hope you guys like our content, and we'll keep it coming for you. So Tyler from the Bloodline, and I'm out.